The title is kind of fitting for this past year, you know, learning from last year and understanding the impacts, in this case, tomato spotted wilt virus, which was one of the things that did impact this crop quite a bit. Some of the rest of them, again, we hope to learn a little bit more about from the three talks that are involved. And I think everything's tied to tomato spotted wilt virus this year. The weather, everything else. We're going to talk a little bit about that. When you look at this past year, this is kind of where we grew peanuts. Most of you guys know that. It's we went down this past year to 678,000 acres, and I think we're probably going to ease back up again. And so that's going to put a little bit more of an importance on, or more value on what's going to be presented today. Because if we do go up, we've got to fight tomato spotted wilt virus. And if you look at the numbers, this is what's confusing about such a tough year, is if you look at the numbers, a state average of 4,224 pounds per acre, for us to stand up here and say we had some major issues last year, a lot of people will look at you a little strange. And I think our congressman probably would do that because we're up there trying to get some assistance for some people, and they would say, well, that's the 5th largest that you've had. So it's hard, but this does not tell that story. You know, our grades, if you looked at those, they 99.8% were Seg 1s, but it really does not show the true nature of what happened last year. The state average doesn't show the losses observed by our top end growers. The irrigation, our dry land, is what held this up. We were 50% non-irrigated. We made a good 2 tons or plus of dry land. In our irrigated, we were down 1,000, 1,200, 1,400 pounds in some areas. And so this doesn't show that. That state average doesn't show that. The highly productive areas, like I said, it doesn't show that in this report. This also doesn't show that our grades were significantly lower this year compared to any year that I've known us to have the low grades that we had throughout the season. There were some problems there, and some of that was, for the most part, we say what happened was some of that was because of tomato spotted wilt, but it also was because of the weather. Tomato spotted wilt hit us early, which it always does, and we kind of do everything we can to minimize that. But June, that kind of enhanced that situation as well as some others. We've never had, or at least in my career, never had a June where we had 3 weeks of 95+ degree temperatures with no rain. And that hurt, or at least we thought we were going to make it through it, but I think it hurt this crop more than we give it credit. And then you get to July and August, things kind of turn back to the good side, and we had very mild temperatures, good rain for the most part throughout the state. But the problem is we had more than 2 to 3 weeks of solid cloudy weather, so no sunshine. And so I think that hurt us a little bit. And then, Lord knows, we get into October, and what happens at frost. That was a very, very early frost. We were not expecting that. And so the latter end of the crop would have been a lot better than what it was if we could have continued to fill it out. And so those are the things weather related that did enhance or did cause problems to the crop itself. But I think one thing, it started off causing us a problem with this one, and that's tomato spotted wilt virus.